Ladies and gentlemen, Swagatam, Suswagatam. Today we are here with Mr. Sree Iyer, the famous, analyst and YouTuber and channel founder, PGurus. His channel is very popular throughout the world. World over, 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗘𝗏 பேர் they are looking at his programs. He runs it not only in English, but in a few other languages too. Viewership exceeds 1 million people in all. So the app is downloadable. App download பண்ணவங்களே ஒரு 1 million people. Outside of that, அப்பப்போ program freewheeling-ஆ பார்க்குறவங்க, there is no count. And especially now that we are in a very critical moment because of our problem with Pakistan and the war, probably it looks like a war. He is very busy now. So he was telling me it would be better that he has the program in the afternoon or at this time, so that he can go back to his interviews, to his analysis, to his editing and other things by 6:30 or so. We are very fortunate to have him here today. His full name is Sreenath, and a lovely family person living in the United States of America. I have known him for some years. கொஞ்சம் புஸ்தகமெல்லாம் எழுதியிருக்காரு. Who Painted My Money White, which talks about how I am a jeweler, and therefore I can say how somebody's investment plan is higher than the turnover. If you read that book, you will understand. So he has a series of these books, and there have been people who have approached him to produce movies also based on the books. One thing is very particular is that the narrative should not be disturbed when the book is being made just for the sake of dramatization. Even now, a few parties have approached him for a couple of books. From counterfeit to gold, subjects like SSR. He has gone through a lot of material, and a very good ready reckoner on international and domestic affairs. Deeply interested in our culture and tradition, he felt that the contribution of Tamil Nadu to nation making is very important. And additionally, he says Tamil Nadu is truly the temple state of the world. கோயில்கள் நிறைந்த தமிழ்நாடு. And this is a replica of the Sengol, which is in the parliament. An exact replica of the Sengol. It is not some Sengol. It looks like the same Sengol. He has prepared the software, got it produced in Coimbatore. The old Sengol was made in Chennai. The new Sengol is now made in Coimbatore. Coimbatore is a manufacturing city, and we are proud to have been part of this making. You can see all the alphabets here. Sengolodia ellame with this. It would make a very good, souvenir for ourselves in our office table. It will remind us of our responsibilities. The Sengol can be ordered through him, and it will be delivered in our office or home. So இன்னைக்கு he is going to talk for some time, and then it will be interactive. I am also thankful to Mr. Rajnikant, my good friend for a long time. Then of course our dear doctor, Dr. Karthik, and all his friends, and real good nationalists like our Guru, Dharnendra Kumar, Mr. Krishnaswamy, Madam Umashri. Wherever something like this happens for the good of the nation, these people are there. These are the assets our country has. And these people consider themselves as children of India. And they say, being a child of this great civilization is the greatest position that we can have and the greatest wealth that we can possess. I think we should applaud them. So over to Sree Iyer, and before that I request Mr. Rajnikant, welcome him in the traditional way with a good ponnadai. It's really amazing when you visit him, when you talk with him, Mr. Sree Iyer, with routine tools that we have at home, electronic gadgets and tools which every household has. He uses it properly, the right technology at the right moment, and puts in a lot of effort with regard to editing. I have done a couple of videos with him. I used to wonder how is it possible. He gets it done. So we need people like this. Every day, everywhere, you can't have a 50,000 square feet studio, 100,000 square feet studio, 50 anchor people, 100 people on the field, all that is welcome. But this kind of mobility helps us to do things like S400, what S400 is doing for India now, the Sudarshanam they say. So let us hope that India wins with flying colors. Over to you, sir. We are eager to listen to you about, Nutana Tamilagam, but Valamana Tamilagam in a Valimayana Bharatam.
Thank you, Rajesh. I would like to present a copy of the same Sengoal to Rajesh ji because he was the motivator behind getting this done in Coimbatore. He found the right person to connect with. We've been working with this for a few months now, and I'm very happy to present this to him as a token of my affection for all the effort he has put in. Thank you so much, Ravi. So it's just essentially this one. Thank you so much. So on that, if you observe closely, you will see the original lettering in Tamil that is there in the Sengoal that is right now in the new Parliament building. So it's an amazing replica, and we are hoping to do many more things like this. Stay tuned, support us, because this is what price we are going to sell you is at cost, meaning like we are not trying to lose money. That's all we are trying to do. It's a labor of love. Hopefully you'll like it, and hopefully more people will get it. Hello Kovai, always a pleasure to be with all of you. In my opinion, Coimbatore represents the entrepreneurial spirit of India. I would say it's one of the most accomplished and most innovative regions. The whole region of Kongu region, in my opinion, is one of the most innovative in India. And it continues to thrive, and it continues to reinvent itself. It is not afraid of falling down. It is always ready to get up and walk and then also run. So in my opinion, those of you who are looking to ride the next wave of growth that is going to happen in India, many people, before they start, like for example, an MNC multinational corporation wants to open a branch. What do? They go to these big four companies, PricewaterhouseCoopers or any one of those people. They say, these are our requirements. We need so much land, so much water, we have to have electricity. Most important, we need such qualified workforce. This is where Tamil Nadu and especially Kongu region scores over many others. Every day here, in every family, people get up and think, what should I do next? What can I do better? How can I do something? That business is running in your veins, it's running in your blood. It's also something that you are breathing in the air here. I have to go back to 2000 years. And if you look at what used to happen, right from the time Chilapadigaram was written, 1st century AD, for example, it's one town that stood at a place where it could take you either to the eastern part of India or western part of India, and that is the town of Karur. Karur is where much of the, that's why it's called Karu. Karu means, the essential element. Karur is the place where you could go either down on Kaveri to Bay of Bengal and beyond to all the other countries, or you could take the land route and go down to the Arabian Sea and go to the west. So this was an essential place where many people used to congregate, and that's how that area grew. And my opinion is that has stayed on. That Karur area became slowly bigger and bigger and bigger. You look at it, you drive through, I have driven through Tamil Nadu many times. There's a distinct difference once you get away from Kongu Nadu. There is a slightly different feeling that you get. And that is something that is not today, yesterday, it's been there for hundreds of years. And how do we take advantage of this? So like I said, when the MNCs come, they will start looking at which is the place that can provide them computer knowledge-based help, a lot of graduate students, a good environment, an easy way to get in and out of the country, and an environment which is very pro-business. Now start ticking the things. Go and look at all the cities across India. How many of them fit the bill? In fact, first you can even look at Tamil Nadu itself. Can Madurai do it? yes, but may not be as much as Kovai. Why? I don't know, but 125 colleges and institutions in Kovai. You go from that road from Coimbatore to Palakkad, like college after college after college after college. And inside the city again towards the airport, lots of colleges. So the education is available. The basic ingredient is that. Another thing, rightly or wrongly, if an MNC is going to come and put up shop in a country, it needs people who can understand what their requirement is. What is the business language of the world? English. Who speaks English? At least we understand English. See, I used to have a company I ran for about 15 years. We started out in 1998 in Coimbatore. We are the first NRI company to use PSG's premises to run a company. After that, now PSG has gone on to great lengths. So from that point forward, we always found that Coimbatore had the right balance. And this is going to become 10, 20, 100 times. Coimbatore is now reinventing itself as an IT powerhouse also. Many of you may have children, grandchildren. One piece of advice is, say, before I come to the children, grandchildren part, one piece of advice, if you have land, don't sell it. In the next 10 years, this is going to be one of the most prized property areas. The area that starts from Palakkad and goes all the way up to Krishnagiri. This is going to be the place where you're going to have a lot of growth. I predict that in Hosur, there will be an international airport soon. And so between Coimbatore, which will have a better international airport, and Hosur, you're only 4 hours away. And you have the choice of 2 different big airports. So this is going to happen. Don't let A square, B square, C square, you know which square I'm talking about, come and give you money and buy their land from you. Hang on to it. This is going to be used for good things. And so let's get back to what do we do? How do we prepare our children and grandchildren to be able to excel in this? What they study in colleges is a very rote-based education. Rote means, multiplication table, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, that sort of stuff. And if the teacher fervently believes that a rabbit has 3 legs, the whole student body thinks that the rabbit has 3 legs. So a lot of things, nobody questions why something is there. So we need to have that questioning, why something is the way it is. That thing has to be inculcated in children. Some of the children are curious, they come and ask us, why is it this way, Dad? Why is this way, Mom? So maybe you're watching a mega serial, maybe you're watching IPL game. For a few minutes, when the child is willing to listen, please take the time to answer the child. 99 out of 100 times when you say something, the child is only hearing. That means it comes one ear, goes out the other ear. The one time the child is willing to listen, when they come and ask you, make full use of that opportunity. And you believe me, they remember a lot of these small things for the rest of their lives. So children need to be more inquisitive. They need to learn more from Uncle Google. There's a lot of online stuff. Again, you have to monitor what online activity the children involve in. And by proper, putting some blinkers on their eyes, you can really make them take advantage from the online websites. Any data, any question, any equation, you can get a very detailed explanation on Google. And this kind of stuff is a varaprasadam. When we used to study, I used to study engineering, and the books were like 800 rupees. I'm talking about 40 years ago. 800 rupees was beyond, forget about one subject. One subject, one semester, 800 rupees per book. So 5 subjects means 4,000 rupees. My dad would say, I don't make that kind of money. So what used to happen, we used to all go and sit in the library. Library will have 5 copies. Then somebody will take one book, tear it apart, 1 page at a time, cyclostyle. Those days there was no Xerox machine. There is something called cyclostyle. By the time you make the 5th copy, you see only black. So we have come through a hard times. Now the children are in a much better position to also absorb what is coming their way. And if you prep them right, they will not have to leave their home. They can be happy. This is one of those rare geographical formations, in my opinion, where the temperature doesn't get too cold, it doesn't get too warm, you get enough rain, you get enough greenery, and overall a very encouraging environment. So, Konguites, please make best use of this opportunity. Great things are going to happen in the next 10 to 20 years. This war will go in a few weeks. India will go back on its path of growth, and United States needs countries like India to provide that MNC backup things. And when that happens, you would have seen that the next growth of Apple is not happening in Chennai. You know why? Because CITU problem. It is also not happening in Hosur. Same CITU problem. The next big growth of Apple is happening in Telangana. So in my opinion, there are 4 states in India that will essentially become powerhouses once the MNCs start taking root. So if you happen to have property in these 4 states, hang on to that also. It's going to go through the roof. The 4 states are Telangana, Hyderabad, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu used to be number 1, but in my opinion, now it is number 4. It is Telangana, number 2 is Andhra, number 3 is Karnataka, number 4 is Tamil Nadu. For various reasons. The governments are not understanding. If you stand beneath the shadow of a tree, you don't realize how good it is, because only when you step out on the sun, you will see the problem. Right now, Tamil Nadu thinks that we are here, people will come. No. It's going to be more and more going to other states which are more hungry, more eager, more good at providing environments. And Telangana, get me wrong, Hyderabad is another big powerhouse. They have got a fantastic way they have grown up the city. So, but there's a big pie. This is like a big pizza. There is enough for all these 4 states. In my opinion, these are the big beneficiaries of what's going to happen the next 10 to 20 years. Get your children ready for it. Talk to them, all positive stuff. Did you read this thing? By the way, do you know that this company could be coming here? You know, there is a shoe or chappal, we call it Crocs, C-R-O-C-S. How many of you have heard of Crocs? Do you know where it is manufactured? Huh? In India. It is completely coming to India. Big factory has come up. Want to guess where? It's a small town near Trichy, Perambalur. Crocs are getting manufactured here, and pretty soon you will see there's a company, I don't know how many of you invest in the stock market, there's a company that sells Hawaii chappals. This is one of the most profitable companies. 𝗤𝗙 company, Asian Paints, paint company, and I'm forgetting the third one. These 3 companies are the most profitable. They give you dividend quarter after quarter without fail. We tend to think, what is this 𝗤𝗙 guy is going to do? The thing is, you need Hawaii chappals to walk. We may not use it. We may be using leather shoes, but India uses that. So my point is that these are all happening already. There is going to be move from Cambodia and Vietnam, because these are essentially Chinese companies that are masquerading and putting some company rules to make it look like it's a Vietnamese product. It is not. Today and tomorrow, there's going to be a whole bunch of meetings between the United States and China. From 145% tariff, US may bring it down to 80% for China. At 80%, it is still impossible for China to do anything. So the door is getting opened wider and wider and wider for India. Now tell me, what is the government of Tamil Nadu doing about it? What is the government of Andhra Pradesh doing about it? Government of Telangana doing about it? Government of Karnataka doing about it? You see why I said 1, 2, 3, 4. Karnataka and Tamil Nadu feel like they have enough. But both these new states are very hungry. And that's where the bulk of the development is going to go. I'm hoping that everybody realizes the potential here. I mean, think about this. That one flyover that comes from the airport to the center of the city, how many years will you take to finish it? It is ridiculous. Now I'm hearing that they want to do it 1 month before the election so that they can claim that as a credit. This is an area that says, just give me the good road. I will go and manufacture myself. They don't need any money. So this is what is lacking in India. And I'm hoping that through this speech, many of us understand what we are missing out on. Certainly, if you don't do these things, we are going to be in a lot of problem. Next, the empowerment through education. Grandchildren, children, take some time, ask them what did they learn that day. And then start asking. You will know generally what it is that they are learning. So what did you think you learned? Why I'm saying this is, they also feel like we don't take any interest in their growth. Once we have this thing as an interactive thing, they'll come open the door and say, look, Tata, what I learned today. And that's the interaction you need, because children's brains are very good at absorbing new stuff. In fact, even as an adult, we only use 1/6 of our brain, 1/6. So 5/6 is going waste. So how much we use it is going to make it that much more powerful. And when a child starts learning these things, it will be wonderful. Education-wise, look at the syllabus. There's a new syllabus coming. Do look at those schools that are going to be implementing the new syllabus. That's a much better syllabus in my opinion. That will help them to get a leg up. Just to tell you the reality, even if you go to US to study bachelor's, it takes 4 years to get an engineering degree. But knowledge is doubling itself every 2 years. What that means is, whatever we learned between the beginning of time up until 2 years ago to the next 2 years, this knowledge is equal to this knowledge. So when you start learning in college, first 2 years, by the time you come to the second year, you're already falling behind because there are new things that you have not kept up with, because you're learning from this point only. So there's another 2 years to go. So children needs to be ready for a future where it will not be one company for life. It will be all like they'll take 2 or 3 career paths. Somebody who's an engineer will suddenly become an artist. Somebody who's an artist will suddenly figure out, hey, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 has a good franchise model. Let me buy 10 cars and run it myself, and I'll become risk is less, but at the same time, if I keep putting this thing, I'll be able to, make a life. Actually, it's a very easy way to do some of these things. Improvements in agriculture, these are coming down the pipeline. Wonderful stuff coming up. And I work with some companies. So one last point before I throw the floor open for questions. Any question is okay. So empowering the education, we need to tell our children, a lot of things are changing. You are probably going to have 2 or 3 careers in your life. I was an inventor. I had 50 patents, 50. And one patent is like getting a PhD. It's not easy, let me put it that way. And I have so many patents. I did 5 or 6 startups, some successful, some not so successful. But in 2014, when Modi came to power, just before that, I decided that I don't want to do this thing anymore. I want to get into investigative journalism. My website started functioning in late of 2015. We were the ones who brought out NDTV frauds, National Herald frauds, Chidambaram's corruption. It's called C Company. Everything. To my utter disappointment, nobody has gone to jail. But that's okay. This will take time. But at the other side, what I've also done is, okay, so if I can't send them to jail, I need to tell the truth to people. That's why when demonetization happened, I did the actual research on why it was done. I found out that it was not to curb black money that demonetization was done. It was done to curb fake money. That's why I call the book, Who Painted My Money White? Meaning like it's a fake currency. But the fakeness was so good that when you presented a fake 500 rupee note and a real 500 rupee note in front of a cashier like in State Bank of India and asked that person, tell me one of them is fake, identify it. The guy was identifying the real note as a fake note. They have all these machines, they go look at it. That was the status. That's why you had to change the 500 and 1000, and you also had to change the size of the 500 note. So that whatever excess currency that they had printed, that could not be deployed in India. Prepare your children, grandchildren, tell them you're going to be pursuing 3, 4 things. Also start telling them, what do you like? If I wake you up in the morning and ask you, what would you like to do? I mean, previous day he would have seen some cartoon and he'll think, this is what I want to do. But slowly you'll start seeing a pattern emerging, that this kid likes to do this, this kid likes to do this. Encourage them in that way. Even when you give birthday presents, give them something that will take them to the next level in that. Because we don't know how they are going to spend their entire life. There are going to be sharp right turns, sharp left turns. That the best thing we can do is tell them, be prepared for it. This is what is going to happen. Another thing I'll tell you, permanent jobs will be a thing of a past. It's happening in US already. I'll give you an example. The big companies, Google, Facebook, Apple, only 48% of the workforce there is permanent. 52% is consultants. Why? Because the permanent has too much overheads. They don't want that. They want to keep them consulting. For 20, 30 years, people are consulting. No option. Because there's the prestige of working for Google. They think, even if I get laid off, I can get job somewhere else because I worked at Google. So this is the reality today. So get ready for that, and your children will do wonderful. Please remember what I said. If you have to go back and show them this video, you learn something, but you are going to do something else. And that something else will also change over time. This is the reality of life. So I'm going to stop now, and any questions you have, please ask me. Dr. Karthik.
So my question is regarding US sanctioning IMF to give 1.2 billion US dollars to Pakistan. And the same Trump and J.D. Vance administration criticized recently that why Russia and Ukraine war has to go on, and they said Joe Biden is one of the reasons. But why are they now giving money to Pakistan and being friendly with us? Is it
I think what you mean is, why are they giving money to Pakistan?
Yes,
despite knowing the...
Yeah.
Yes.
Despite knowing this, it's double standards. Why should they give money to Pakistan and be also friendly with us? What is their intention, sir?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a very good question. Because India tried a few things. They tried to make it look like if India doesn't participate, then they might not take a decision. So I read up the rules book in the IMF. What exactly happens? How does a loan get dispersed? First thing, by the way, today morning in a Hindi channel, I mistakenly said that US's percentage share in IMF is 2.7%. That is incorrect. US has 15%, 1.5. United States has 15% stake in IMF. IMF has close to 100 countries. Based on how much they can afford to pay, they will put that money. For example, India, Bhutan, Sri Lanka. Because India is sort of telling Sri Lanka, look, we are guaranteeing your loan, so therefore you should vote your bloc also with us. When you add all these things, India had 3%. China has 6.1%. Japan has 6.4%. So just see, 15 plus 6 plus 6 plus 3, right? That comes to only 30%. There is 70% among small countries. China has bought a lot of these people. And the options are, when you take the vote, you can either abstain or you can vote for it. So I think United States realized that it doesn't have the heft, power, to be able to influence this vote to go or stop this money. However, United States has got another thing going that they are trying to do. This is not IMF money. There is another thing that US used to spend called USAID. That is completely cut off now. That money is not coming in. That used to be the one that used to go to all these big Bindri brigades and the woke and all these people. That is stopped. There is a new resolution that some senators are moving. What they are going to do is, I've talked about this in US, in my channel. This is saying no money for dictators. That means no more aid to China, no more aid to countries like Pakistan, no more aid to countries like even Russia. So United States money is going to be much more carefully monitored as to how they are going to spend it. So once the majority has been bought out by China, there was not much you can do. What is China's interest in all this? See, US has caught China trying to sneak in their products using Mexico, Canada, Vietnam, Cambodia, and one other country, I don't remember which one. So what they are saying is, this is not the country of origin where you are manufacturing it. Yeah, you may be putting the label, you may be putting the plastic in Vietnam and saying this is assembled in Vietnam, but all the concept is come from China. That's what they are trying to cut. That genuine Chinese-made products has to be taxed at the tariff of close to 80%. So Trump is not bending in this, because if US does not get back a sizable percentage of its own manufacturing, US will be dead. Then you can ask me, well, if US is going to keep all the manufacturing to itself, how come I'm painting a very bright story about how these 4 states in India are going to benefit from MNCs? Slight difference. US cannot manufacture things like pencils, pens, low-cost items. It has to have a certain threshold before which manufacturing something in US is economically viable. I can just loosely tell you $1,000 a piece product. That means you are talking about entry-level air conditioners, entry-level laptops, and above that. You see, an F-35 costs, I think, $25 million or something like that. So even those things were in danger of going to China, because China starts copying them. The JF-17 that Pakistan flies and crashes in India, this is a rip-off of F-16. The HQ-9, which is a anti-aircraft defense system from China is a rip-off of the Russian S-300. India has the next generation S-400. So Russia sold S-300 to China, which promptly copied it, and then it sold off its own version to Pakistan and said that you don't need anything else. You can take care of your country from this. Guess what? About 4 or 5 years ago, you might have seen something very interesting happen. In Haryana, there was a BrahMos missile that misfired. That BrahMos missile misfired. It was supposed to go to Haryana. From Haryana, it was supposed to go to like Madhya Pradesh or something. It took off all right, but then it changed trajectory and it went into Pakistan. It went in 120 kilometers and then fell in a farm. If the BrahMos loses trajectory, how is it that it is able to safely go and land in farmland where nobody is living? The thing was, it was a test to see how good the S-300 was. And S-300 didn't catch it. So India knew, okay, your S-300 is a lot of hot air. The JF-17s don't fly properly. Today, just half an hour ago, I got the update. India has, throughout the day, they have been destroying airfields in Pakistan. They've taken out 7 or 8 just in the last 24 hours. Why this is happening? Many cargo planes are coming from Turkey. These days they call this Turkey. They are coming with these cheap drones. And these cheap drones are, some of them need actually an runway to take off because they are that big. So by, taking down the runways, India is making it that much harder for them to launch drones. Tonight it will be interesting as to how much intensity Pakistan is going to show in terms of whether they are going to be able to sustain this attack or not. Also around 2 p.m, their DG operations guy has called, can we de-escalate to India? I pray that India doesn't even listen to them, hang up the phone and do whatever India wants to do. Just go and do it. Because they have been trying to infiltrate all through this time. And India has been breaking them down, but it's impossible to let them in the way it is now. India needs to redraw the borders a little bit more. I'm telling you openly, India needs to claim back some of the land that's the land that is easy to come in and hide oneself in, so that at the right time they can sneak people in. Those things have to be taken out, especially around the area called Poonch, P-O-O-N-C-H. I've written a book that will be coming out in the next few months. The importance of that, what is happening, what did Pakistan do there to prevent India from coming in. All this stuff is written in that book that will come out. Do read that one.
So we have two fantastic rogue states flanking both sides. And in case if the war goes away, we wish it to go, we might see 4 states on our western border. The one which we created on the eastern border has never been faithful to us. Are we going to have more trouble by creating 4 more rogue states instead of one consolidated one on the left, on the western side?
Good question, thank you. See what mistake India made, and I have really probed this thing. In 1971, in 13 days, India forced surrender of Pakistan. 93,000 prisoners of war. And India brought them into India and they housed them, they fed them for I think 1.5 years or something like that, because the Shimla Accord took place only in 1972. And India had 54 prisoners of war in Pakistan. And when the Shimla Accord started, no progress was being made. This guy was begging Indira Gandhi would not budge. And the last day of that thing had come, evening 7 o'clock. The press is all winding up because next day they have to go back to Delhi. Some were taking cars, some were taking trains, some were going to go by flight. And around 9:30 in the evening, suddenly the PRO of the PMO, Public Relations Officer, comes to the place where all these journalists are staying. Oh, there has been a development, come. And that development is India decides to give everything back. Every damn thing back. And they did not even insist on getting their 54 prisoners back. What kind of 𝗤𝗙𝗪 did somebody put on Indira Gandhi? Nobody asked this question. At that time, India did have opposition. I don't know why they didn't ask this question. Same thing in 65. I'm afraid if we don't start asking these questions today, even Modi government may just give up after just waiting that, okay, these guys are not going to, because they are going to do it. It is in their DNA. So one way to do this thing is to break this thing up to 4 or 5 parts. The more, the better. And there's only one state out of those 4 or 5 states that can have a decent military, which is the state of what I would call West Punjab. But if you surround the whole thing with other countries where you have some sort of a defense treaty, we say that we'll make sure these guys don't come in and invade you, because things are going to get very messy. Many of you may have read about Indus Water Treaty, that suddenly the gates are closed, no water flows, and then 2 days later, water is flowing again. Why is India opening the gates? What India is doing is, in that 48 hours, when they close the gates, they are desilting the dam on the other side. What desilting is, மண்ணு சேர்ந்துக்கும் அப்படியே கீழே. அதை எடுத்துக்கிட்டே இருக்கணும். அப்பதான் உங்களுக்கு தண்ணி நிற்கும் மண்ணுக்கு பதிலா. So what they are doing is, they are taking all this sand out of the dam side, storage side, and then when there is enough, then they are mixing it with water and letting it out. So what that water is actually dirty water. It's got full of sand. You have done 2 things. They don't know when water is going to come. They don't know when water is going to stop. They don't know what they can do with that water, because if it comes muddy, they can't use it. They have to find a way to store it, let it settle down, and then only use it. So India is playing incredible amount of games with them. This is going to not go well. We are starting summer now in Pakistan and in North India. It's going to be extremely hot. And see, India said we will take 20% of the water from Indus Water Treaty, but India was taking less than 5%, which means 95% was going to Pakistan. Now India said, forget about 80-20, we don't even look at this treaty, we will do as we please. What has India done since 2014? Many of us ask, right? Oh, Modi has been in power for 11 years, what has he done? Since 2014, we have connected Chenab to Ravi, Ravi to Beas, Beas to Satluj. So there is connection now. Canals can take the water and that can flow. And beyond that, it can also flow into the Ganganagar area of Rajasthan. It's already very fertile. In 5 years, once water started flowing, the desert became farmland. We need to do more. How can we do more? Well, there is one problem. There is something called as the Yamuna-Satluj Link Canal. This is about 300 kilometers. It starts from Yamuna in Delhi and it goes all the way up to Satluj in Punjab. This was agreed to in 60 years ago, 65 years ago. And land was acquired on both states, that is Haryana as well as Punjab. And canal was built only on the Haryana side. Till the border of Haryana from Yamuna river in Delhi, the canal is ready. But Punjab, successive governments, it doesn't matter, 𝗥𝗙𝗙𝗙, Congress, and now this useless AAP, nobody wants to build that canal. Unless that canal is built, the downside water will not go. But more importantly, that is needed even for Punjab's own usage. What has happened is, Punjab has been doing 3 crops a year. It used to be only doing 2 crops. The 3rd crop came about because of our fight with Karnataka on water. When India found that rice is not being produced enough in the rice basin, they needed an alternate place to make the rice. So what happened was, Punjab and Haryana started cultivating rice. But that was a different crop season. There are only downsides because of that. That crop season is the one that leads to crop burning. Why crops have to be burnt is because unless you burn the first crop, you will not be able to plant the 2nd crop. And then there is 3rd crop. So there is hardly any time for these fields to cultivate. And because they are using, rice is a very water intensive product. You need standing water for I think 60 days or something like that. So Punjab's water table has come down. So this is a good thing. It's a win-win for everybody. But I don't know if a comedian who's the Chief Minister of Punjab can even understand that, because half the time he's hitting a bottle. I'm sorry to say this, I have very little respect for some of the politicians in India. But this is going to solve this problem. So demilitarize Pakistan, let them, whatever little have, let them have it inside Punjab. but you surround them with other countries where India might supply the currency and defense and train their workforce, administrative workforce, so that they come and learn in our administrative staff college as to how to run. But at any given point, keep a tight grip on them. Make sure that they don't become radical. They don't become more, there's every chance for them to do that. That is where India's tact comes in. I'm very encouraged with Balochistan, by the way. Many in Balochistan are worshippers of Hinglaj Mata. Hinglaj Mata is like another avatar of Lakshmi, if you think about it. And they go to the temple, they pray. It's a country that is going to be run by women. Shakti, Nari Shakti. So this is going to be different. So India probably will start with Balochistan. My guess is also that Sindh will not be kept intact. India might take the part of Sindh that goes up to the river. In other words, a reduced Sindh, river to Balochistan will be a new Sindh Desh, and from Rajasthan to the Sindh river, that might also be part of India. The reason for that is a majority of the people there, or not majority, but sizable minority is Hindus there. You need to solve that problem also. See, this is incredible how much stuff is being done in the back end. They know if Pakistan loses all these 0.5 elements in India will start getting active. NIA has been arresting people left, right and center. All these guys who will create trouble. And they are raiding dumps. You will start seeing that India will start destroying masjids if they find any ammunition in them. This is going to happen. You are going there to pray, not to fight battles. Molotov cocktails, acid and knives and sticks and stones. What the hell are you thinking? So this will happen. This will happen, and census actually, in my opinion, NRC implemented. How it will be implemented, don't ask me. I'm not going to say a lot of answers in there. The way it is being planned, and I had put a lot of suggestions, and they are taking all these things. May not be this census, but the next census will be, you just have to, in a window of 1 month, they'll tell you, go to this site, register yourself, and update your address. That's it. Your facial recognition will be made, and you just have to sit in your home. You don't even have to let the census officer come and he'll ask 100 questions. All that stuff will be not needed. This is what's going to happen.
We hold letter of accession given by Kashmir Raja. Now that Pakistan is opting out of Simla agreement, and naturally
they also said LOC doesn't have
LOC
so India can walk in.
It is not an international border. Now that the LOC is no more valid,
yes,
the line dividing Pakistan agreement, so-called 𝗤𝗏𝗡𝗏, is it, given the present condition, is it good for India walking in and taking over, or wait for another couple of years when it may land on our laps on its own?
So here is the truth about war.
Thank you.
Welcome, thank you. Here's the truth, very good question. It's the truth about war. Walking into a country is easy. Making the population to accept you to rule them, that is difficult. What is going to happen is India will forcibly take some areas which will prevent infiltration into Jammu area. If India takes that area within the Pak occupied Kashmir, and India will have fencing and everything, that will be first part. My opinion, next thing will be Balochistan, India will help them become independent. Then Gilgit-Baltistan. Gilgit-Baltistan is not with Pakistan. They hate them. And GB getting merged to India is very important, because in the city of Gilgit, depending on who you talk to, 1 to 2 lakh Chinese, they have built a walled city inside Gilgit. Inside that city, only Chinese signs. The local populace can go there to be guides or sell vegetables, sell milk, that sort of stuff. This is how they treat the Gilgit local population. Why are they there? Because that's the entry of CPEC into Pakistan. So if India takes GB, India will have to take on China. That is an important topic there. So how India might do it there is Kargil. Kargil is very close to Gilgit-Baltistan on its eastern side. Gilgit is more to the western of the Gilgit. Gilgit-Baltistan is a huge piece of land. The eastern part could easily become part of India. So they may say, okay, we want to join with India. India will have to run a plebiscite. We'll have to pull in United Nations. India has to first become UNSC member, United Nations Security Council member. There are stories that two countries I think, two countries might be included. One is India and the other is Japan. So it will become a 7-member permanent UNSC council. And there are also talks that US might kick out China unless China starts playing by the rules. And if US kicks out China, then India will take that place. Then no change, 5 countries, India will be there. The stupidest thing that Nehru did when it was offered on a plate. This bugger died of syphilis, I'm telling you today. One of the worst human beings ever to. Anyway, so this is what India always gets these opportunities and then it will just let go. Today I'm saying, or I'm thinking, at 8 o'clock I have 3 retired generals coming on my program, guys. 3 retired generals, and we have been doing it every day. Today is day 4. For day 1, day 2, day 3, we've been having generals coming and talking about what is happening in Pakistan. Everybody is coming to the same idea now. The idea is that this time India needs to break it up. 𝗤𝗓𝗡𝗏 Munir will be the last army general to rule Pakistan. That's it. Done. All these buggers have private planes with private military contractors waiting to extract them. That's a bad word to say. Extract is a hot zone because India will create hot zone for them inside Islamabad itself. Today they bombed Islamabad, they bombed Rawalpindi, they bombed Karachi, they bombed Lahore. A bomb yesterday fell within 20 kilometers of where 𝗤𝗓𝗡 Munir lives. Another bomb fell within 20 kilometers of where the Prime Minister lives. These people are now getting a real fear of their lives. But they are basically shameless people. Most of the rich, ultra rich in Pakistan are dual citizens. They'll have Pakistani citizenship, they'll have UAE or Canada or US or Australia or something like that. And they'll come to Pakistan only when, like for example, the IMF money is coming in. Now they'll come, there'll be a cutting. So much for this guy, so much for this guy, so much. Everybody will take their cut, put it back into their bank account, go back. This is how Pakistan has been running. So, wait, this is going to happen. In my opinion, India is also not going to let go because that water treaty, the way India is taking Pakistan on the water treaty, that's going to cause the problem because their own feudal lords who have a lot of land, but they don't have money because there is no more crop to grow, they will turn against their own army. So army will flee. I am hoping for the day when these flights are on the air and India forces them to land in India so that they can stand trial for war crimes. 25 and more civilians have been killed in this firing and they have been cherry-picked. They hit temples, they hit gurudwaras, they have hit churches. In one gurudwara in Poonch, close to 14 people have died. 3 houses completely burnt. They were just besides the gurudwara. Gurudwara did not get damaged. Even their missile has got a bad aim. But what did these innocent people do? So far I'm hearing 5 children dead, about 10 women dead and rest of men. And they are innocent people. This is a war crime. And this guy has to stand trial for it. I hope some unknown person comes and takes care of him. He cannot be killed. He needs to be brought and made to stand in trial in India. And don't care about what US says. US will say, oh, de-escalate. Why do you have to care? Did they listen to us? Do they listen to us? India should do what is good for India, just as I would say US should do what is good for US. Do it first. Afterwards, face it later, whatever happens. What can they do? Nothing. See, America is not in a position to even put one soldier boot on the ground. People are screaming at them when they send their armed forces to go fight some war somewhere. So that is completely gone. US doesn't have that power. At the most, they can keep firing missiles. There is a problem there, we will solve that. Today, what India has to do is to make permanent whatever advantages that India has got. Today, no plane can take off to fight. No, none, JF-17, nothing. Which means southern states are safe. It's only the 4 border states that could be a little bit of danger. But that also will be neutralized very soon. It's going to be tough, but it will happen. Thank you.
What we are predicting now. China has a lot of investment in this 𝗣𝗚𝗡𝗏.
Yeah.
What would their reaction be once this gets disrupted?
My dear man, they are doing everything possible to try and help Pakistan, just like they tried to help Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah. The Hamas thing of October 7, 2023 was very carefully planned. It had advisors from Iran, it had advisors from China, it had advisors from Pakistan. And in one of the raids, Israelis caught Chinese engineers in one of those deep, deep tunnels inside Hamas. I don't know what kind of treatment they gave to Hamas, those people, but I know for a fact they caught Chinese people there. What are Chinese people doing in these tunnels? Because China is good at constructing tunnels. They could not have done this thing without the help of tunnels. And another, horrible fact, these tunnels don't have air. The air has to be circulated from outside. How that used to happen was they have all these high-rise apartments. On the high-rise apartments where we have basement parking, right? They don't have that. They have giant sucking machines that will suck the air, purify it, and pump it through into the dungeons, into all these tunnels. Now, what is going to happen, in my opinion, is Israel has a certain vision. I think America has a slightly different vision. Some confusion there. We'll have to wait and see. Trump is not very happy with Netanyahu, and the feeling is mutual. We'll have to wait and see. One thing India can count on, India has an all-weather friend in Israel. Absolutely no doubt about that. In fact, if you watch PGurus, I'm showing a lot of programs where Jews and Indians, Hindus, are coming together. If something happens in Israel, we go to their support. If something happens to Hindus, they come to our support. These videos are there on PGurus. Do watch them. So it's very, very clear now. We all understand where people's loyalties lie. Their loyalty is to their religion first. Too bad. That's going to be a problem. The religion has to go. Only then the followers will go. How that is going to happen, I don't know, but I think that's going to happen. May not be in our lifetime, but it has to happen.
Okay, question. Change of mindset for the people in India and for here, sir.
So next time you...
And also stop the bribes.
Yes, so...
so much bribes, so much of influences, especially the retired people, retired community,
Yes.
which have connections like old age group, old communities. Lot of bribing and lot of influences. Which
What you are
makes the
saying...
young people not to grow.
Yeah, what you're saying is... Thank you. What you're saying is it's easier to say it in theory, but difficult to put in practice.
Yeah, practical. Yes.
Next time you go to US, when you are with your children, with your grandchildren, right? Grandchildren have an affinity towards grandparents. They are a little bit more tolerant of what they do. So try and see if you can make conversation with them. What are you learning? Tell me, I don't know, I am not from your generation. Educate me what you're doing. The moment you get established that communication, you can slowly start steering them towards your thinking. Like for example, you can say you can put vibhuti on your forehead. Don't point it towards this. That's why it's doing it. Yeah, just point it towards you. So whenever they see you put vibhuti, right? They can ask you, what is this? Then you can explain, look, ashes is where we come from and ashes is where we go. So little things, start communicating when you go to see your grandchildren. Whether your children come here or not, believe me, when they turn 50, 55, the way the job market is going in US, people will start making this trade-off. I can come to Kovai, I have a decent, because you're slowing down. You're not going to be able to run around. You're slowing down, you want a better quality of life. And Kovai has the fastest rate of growth of senior homes. Why is that? Yes. Why is that? Because somewhere somebody has solved this problem, what you said. And I'll be happy to sit down with you. My mom is very happy. She's 90. And she's busy 5 days a week teaching music. 5 days a week. If she didn't have that, I'm sure she would be very, very, tired and not know what to do. But because she teaches music 1 hour a day, but she has to prepare for it. There's a certain process. Being active is very important. So try.
Have you ever visited China, sir? Like, it has gone leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Compared to America. America is still America, 100 years old America.
I have been to China many times. It's unfortunately it is disproportionate and it's not like across the board. One of the things that India is blessed with, even though we were enslaved for 200 years by the British, is the fact that we understand English. Forget about speaking. We understand English. because it has crept into Tamil, it has crept into Telugu, it has crept into Kannada, Hindi, everywhere there's மழை ஸ்டார்ட்டாக போகிறது. மழை பெய்ய போகிறதுன்னு சொல்கிறதில்ல, மழை ஸ்டார்ட்டாக போகிறது. Because it's easy for us to explain to the other person. So, this is going to bring India's nose up. I'll tell you one story. Two-wheelers. Did you know that India defeated China? Every country it went, despite not being the cheapest product. It is not the cheapest product. Hero Honda, Bajaj, LML, there is that anybody who's making motorcycles now, two-wheelers. India rules the roost. Why? Something India figured out that Chinese can never do. So these things are going to change. Just wait. China is going to collapse under its own weight. It's going to take 30, 40 years to come. It's also going to break up into 5 parts. 5 parts. So this is not, India, despite looking like it will never be together, will be together.
And many in South are not at all aware of such a great development happening in UP.
Right.
So we should have an airport in Karur as big as that or even bigger than that. I think you have a better voice than me, so please project this.
Definitely, I'll do that.
What I could do is only put it in my Facebook account, which only 10 people have seen. So your reach is far better.
I'll do, will do. Thank you.
I'll ask only one question.
Yeah.
So I think all questions were international. I will bring it to the local. I find that BJP has very less presence in the rural areas. What's your suggestion to improve that?
Very simple, sir. Very, very simple. You go drive through rural Tamil Nadu. Every white wall has Uday-Suryan. These guys have bought out the entire house outside thing. They're paying for it. BJP needs to break that. It's just, you have to find out how this is being done. This is the mafia too. Initially they may try to break 1 or 2 bones, but go from Coimbatore, for example. Tell them, I will whitewash your outside as long as you let me fill it up with tamarai. Because this is subliminal messaging. What subliminal messaging is, you open your eyes, you're going through a road, you're seeing a symbol. When you go to vote, right, you remember that. This is the level to which DMK has done the research. Let's accept that these guys are good at winning elections. Forget about paying money. That money part is for the sins that they are committing. But in terms of awareness, it's incredible how much they have created. And they have also created a 370 around the whole state. Hate for Hindi. This has to be broken by BJP. They did a little bit of work in that multi-3 language policy in the new education policy. They have made some inroads. More work needs to be done. I'm finding a very refreshing approach now. There is a political leadership and there is a messaging. Messaging is being done by Mr. Annamalai. Every day he's drawing large crowds. He's not doing politics there, he's doing messaging. So he's building on what he has already done. So this is a new strategy that BJP is using. And DMK will be watching, because this is to try and counter all of these antics like, TVK and some other K, some other Z, some other 3-letter organization coming in. So there is something going on there. BJP is aware that they know what needs to be done. Just be patient. But that part, subliminal messaging, that has to be done.